60 card lifestyle, possessions, everything that you own, a new way of looking at all the things that we have in our life, all our material possessions. Welcome in, much love. Trav here. So if you have a lot of things, this is for you. If you feel your life is cluttered with things, it's for you. If you travel and you're cutting down, you're trimming down, it's also for you. If you're not into materialism and you're very simple, this is also for you. This is for anyone who has things. So really, I think this is for everyone. This is a new way of looking at material possessions that I've never heard anyone talk about, which has been very useful for me as I've picked up my life. And those of you familiar with my story, I'm unleashed. I traveled so much and brought things, so many things with me. Everything that I own is pretty much in one backpack and one duffel bag through the cold winters and the hot summers. And I've had a lot of people ask me, like, dude, where are your things? Like, what's your plan here? And I've also made a couple videos, packing for Japan vlog, packing for Ireland or Pro Tour vlog, where recently, if you want to look at that, I made a video on everything that I own. Although I do have like a wetsuit in England that I'll probably never get. I've got a wetsuit that I brought up. I've got a bookshelf and a bicycle at my buddy's garage in Arcata. But besides that, everything I own is in one bag and so on. So first, we'll go into universals about things. But I think it's important to understand two different strategies for your possessions. Yeah, basically two different strategies for possessions. Some people some of you have a lot of things, and some of you don't. Some of us have a lot of things, some of us don't. Those are basically the two things. Some of us have a large collection. Some of us have no collection, except we only take one deck with us, right? I only take one deck with me at a time. That is my collection, right? So for some of us, collection and deck is the exactly same thing. And that's where the 60 card lifestyle is going to come into play, where in building a good magic deck, 40 card limited, 60 card constructed, it's going to stay at 40 or 60 so that you have the maximum chance of drawing your best cards. You add more cards, it dilutes your deck. So those of us who have fewer things have to throw something away in order to add something new, which we're going to talk about. But whether you are collection-based or just one deck-based, you do want to get rid of garbage. It's so easy to hoard garbage, things that get in our way, clutter our living situations, create claustrophobic environments, can't pass people, takes away from space to lie down on the ground, do yoga or whatever the fuck you want to do. It causes things to be lost. Things disappear into piles of stuff, and you try to organize it, but it becomes so disorganized, it just takes so much time to organize your collection or your things. It takes time to find things. It takes time to throw things away if you do occasional purges. If this really speaks to you, then maybe you'll be like me and you'll move away and throw away everything except a backpack and a duffel bag. But regardless of what you do, I think that quality is more important than quantity. You don't want to have a million clothes necessarily. You want to have few clothes that fit you well and are comfortable and appropriate to the climate. You don't want to have a bunch of chaff, scathe zombies, and garbage commons in boxes. You want to get rid of those, just like the same way you don't want more stuff is not necessarily good. You don't want to have a ton of garbage. But the main thing I want you to see right now is how more things is not necessarily better. Again, I'm not against things, and I love high quality things, and I recommend you place quality of things over quantity of things. You want boxes of dual lands and cryptic commands. You don't want boxes full of commons. You want to throw those away, right? Okay, so let's talk about what I'm more interested in. This is how I've been living my life, it's interesting. And again, I haven't heard of anyone talk about it in this way, but again, those of you who know my story, you should go check it out, Magic Life. There'll be a link to this somewhere down below my book. But I sold my collection in 2010 to fund my trip to the Pro Tour for Amsterdam. I remember I sold my collection, threw my money in the bank. I had $852 in the bank. I was working some minimum wage job at the time, but my paycheck was a couple weeks out. And I wanted to buy the ticket. It was $853, and I went and borrowed $1 from my friend. We went to the bank together. I deposited the $1, took a picture of it, and bought the plane ticket to Amsterdam. And I made a decision at that point that I was not going to have a collection. I would just have a deck. And for that deck, I would make deals, loans, borrow cards, etc. And I've stayed with that. I've borrowed a lot of cards. I've made relationships to do that. I also have made prize splits and given prize splits away and stuff like that. So similarly, around a couple years later, 2013, 2014, when I finally moved out on my own, I threw away a lot of my things. I definitely left a mess, and I regret that to some extent, but I've learned, you know, when I move now, I get rid of all of my, clean up my mess and get rid of all of my things. But I was younger then and less experienced. However, since then, I've never been in the same place for more than 6 months, most of the time for more than 3 months. So with so much moving, it's gotten to the point where, you know, I have my duffel bag and I have my backpack, and it's more about replacing things than getting new things, because my carrying capacity is at the max, right? If everything that you own has to come on an airplane, your deck, you can't add more cards. In order to add a card, you have to cut a card. So I've started to come by this philosophy where in order to have a new possession, I have to throw away or give away an old possession, which has become really interesting. And over time, I've upgraded my stuff. I've gotten higher quality, invested in higher quality clothes, not to look better, but to be more comfortable and be warmer and stuff like that, and a higher quality toothbrush, and higher quality shoes, and higher quality bag, and a better computer, better phone. And that's really all I own. Again, you can go look at my video on packing for Japan. That's really all that I own. You know, for instance, when I get a new book now, I usually travel with 2 or 3 books. If I get a new book, I have to give the old book away, you know. I'll put it in some other bookshelf library somewhere. In order to, when I got a new long sleeve shirt for the winter, I had to make room, so I threw away an old cotton Pro Tour shirt that I didn't really want anymore. When I got upgraded to a really nice toothbrush, which I recommend, by the way, it's Sonicare Diamond or something, and that's super noticeable. Highly recommend that. But you know, threw away my old electronic toothbrush, that has been somewhat life-changing in that I have very little clutter. I don't spend very much time organizing things. I don't spend time losing things, or don't really spend time searching for things. And I really like every possession that I have. I've got a good relationship with things. My life is not cluttered. There's a lot of space, and it's also easy to pick up and pack. And I hope to keep this philosophy with me even as I become more settled in my life, although I don't really see that happening over the next year. I mean, I do like to keep my winter clothes in storage at a friend's or my parents' or something if I'm in Hawaii, but I should be able to just roll up my down jacket and it should fit in my things anyways. My wool leggings and liners should fit in my things anyways, and they do. So I still take everything with me. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I want to share that with you because I've never heard anyone talk about it that way. And the analogy between our possessions and our things is really interesting. And it'll appeal and strike you guys, some of you guys in different ways than others. Some of you are minimalists like me. Some of you aspire to be minimalists like me. Some of you don't, and that's fine. But even if you're more collection-based than one deck-based, you should still think about how if those things you know, if you're hoarding, if the things are getting in your way. I mean, as some people I think like to be in like crowd, feel good, having a lot of things around them. I don't, and I don't really like to be in that situation. But I do understand if you are, and you don't necessarily have to. But you know, throw away the garbage, throw away the old commons, give them away. Someone may want them. And careful before you add more things to your life as well. So let me know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Do you have a big collection of cards and things? Are they high quality, low quality things? Do you have a one deck at a time sort of thing, travel everything in a suitcase? Are those things nice? Are they bad? Are they good? And what is your relationship with things? As you acquire new things, are you giving away old things, or is it just piling up and piling up and piling up? Regardless of what it is, you have to have a strategy to get rid, because over time we do acquire more things. If we don't have a strategy, you know, mine is I get something, I'm literally going to go to my things and get rid of something right then. But it's also before I leave, I throw things away or give them away. But if you're not really leaving and traveling, then you have to have a different strategy. Otherwise, over time, things are going to get really cluttered. So let me know what you think. Find that pretty fascinating. If you like content like this that is more focused on improving quality of life, then you should check out my Travis Wu channel. There should be a link to that in the description, because that channel is all about improving quality of life. And also, for those of you who want to transform your lives, I have a new video course that's coming out soon, and you'll hear about it, called 1 Year Life Transformation. And I'm really excited and working hard on this and going through. It's in-depth with exercises and recommended books, and something really that I wish I had when I was trying to figure my shit out. Something really structured about goal setting and habits and commitments and looking at keystone habits and helping me get everything together and holding me accountable. So that's something that's coming. If you're excited about that, then leave a comment about it, or message me privately. Especially, you know, if you're very interested, actually message me, because I'm interested in having a small test group come through first. So let me know what you think. Appreciate you. Much love. And that's the 60 card lifestyle to possessions. Peace.